Last time I talked about this series, I talked about 2 issues that introduce its characters and its triple string storytelling. This issue does the same, but it gets dark as hell as well. Its 3-layered story structure continues on with its alternate World War I, this time explaining what powers the amorphous robots, explaining it through a faceless narrator and a giant tank machine that was only glimpsed unpowered before. Regarding what powers it, it's less who and more what. You'd think that showing a monster from the chaos of the void devouring its unwilling sacrifices will be as dark as it goes for this issue, considering it takes up half the issue. Nope. The second story again acts as a bridging narrative between the Victorian and World War I stories. Again at 3 pages, but under 10 panels, so it's shorter than the other issues. The backgrounds again tell more than the dialogue as it continues showing over telling the interesting timing of where it fits in the overall story. Then comes the return of the Victorian story. 2 things. It's shaded really dark, which is really different to any style in the issues before. You'll understand why. And I think it was either Photoshop drawn or rotoscoped, as it has a hyper-realistic style making it look like drawn photographs. It introduces another one of the carnival freaks called Beauty. She's called that because, as they say, beauty is indeed a strange gift, as the power can reveal the emotions that lie within. It can show us our strengths, and of course our weaknesses. What comes next is where this issue gets dark. It starts with a sheltered, lonely childhood. Okay. Then it moves on to Kidnap, with the nabber saying, "You're gonna grow to be quite a stunner. Could make a pretty penny in the right hands." That's pretty dark, with some dark insinuations. Then those insinuations stop being insinuations with, "Behind closed doors, this evil turns the blessing of beauty into the worst of curses." Okay. And then time passes. And she's now in her, I'm guessing, teens, still locked up and sold by the same person. She then kills a customer, is found guilty of murder, and ordered to be hung. And even when she's on death row, she can't escape her curse, if you get my meaning. The carnival master appears at her execution, uses his trickery to stave off the execution, and brings her into his fold. My god, that got fucked up. When an issue opens up with body horror mixed with cosmic horror, you know you're in for a fun issue. So in one issue, we have war, gore, body horror, cosmic horror, I'm guessing some kind of apocalypse, child kidnap, child rape, and prison rape. I don't know how to feel about this issue. The cosmic horror aspect, as well as the war and apocalypse settings, were set up in previous issues, so having them appear with body horror again is not a far swing. But then the third story in this issue just created a character and then tortured it. Although, considering the other character of that storyline, it does make some sense having a character like that. The first character of that string we're introduced to back in issue 1 is the Jigsaw Girl, whose skin is a literal sewn together jigsaw, as well as having glimpses of other tortured souls in other panels and sections. I'm guessing that storyline just has fucked up characters in it. The artistry in this issue is probably the best so far, being able to maintain the 3 separate art styles for each of the story strings. I'm just not really sure where it can go from here. Once you've gone into the realms of body horror, cosmic horror, rape, it does leave a few questions, like how all the stories connect, so at least I am somewhat interested in continuing on, but not necessarily in the realms of finding out what happened to the characters, because the characters in this are already fucked.